for this recognition. I'm not going to say it, whether I deserve it anymore or not. It's already been mentioned. Thank you. Thank you. But I'm accepting this award because of my deep respect for the Richmond Peace Education Center, for what it stands for and what it actually does. And so I do accept this award, but with a profound sense of humility. Thank you. I'd like to thank my brother Alex, my sister Santa, and my sister Mona as well for those very kind words. Thank you so very much. I want all of you to recognize that you're peace builders too. The mere fact that you happen to be here supporting our faith gives testimony to that fact. You are peace builders. It's not just us two or Adria or the executive board of the Richmond Peace Education Center. You're all peace builders. You're peacemakers. Well, Adria's in a position by her own. I mean, she does so much more. Really, she deserves a hand. Honestly, of my work has been in two areas. And those two areas, they are interrelated. I have to go back to 2001. I was thrust in a position where I was representing the Muslim community. 9/11 happened, this barbaric, heinous crime, and I was being sought after because I happened to be the lead person. It was not a position of choice, I just happened to be there. And what that really meant, that I had, in that lead position, if you will, I had to clear what was being said about Islam and what was being said about Muslims. I don't know how many times I repeated this phrase that not all Muslims are terrorists. It's I don't know if you remember this or not, but Muslims were being painted with a very white brush. And so it was an overwhelming number of times that I repeated that we're not terrorists. We were peace-loving American citizens. I don't know how many times I had to clear misconceptions and debunk myths, but this was all that had to be done. Again, I just happened to be there. And by the way, this actually led to another branch, and which was, I think Mona mentioned that as well, my work with the youth, the Muslim youth. I felt it was extremely important to work with the Muslim youth, so they would have a better understanding of Islamic fundamentals, a better understanding of Islamic tenets. Why? Because it's extremely important to produce not just good Muslims, it's extremely important to produce good American Muslims. The second area of concentration, as far as I'm concerned, was to build bridges. When I was working with the Asian American Society, or with the Interfaith Council of Greater Richmond, it provided me with a pathway to connect with peoples of different faith, with different ethnicities. But my overwhelming amount of work has been with my Christian and Jewish friends. Why? Because they constitute the majority of people living in the United States. And not only that, of course, Muslims, Jews, and Christians, we have a common past, an Abrahamic past, if you will. The Quran says, the divine book for the Muslims, that if you want change, and I'm not going to give you the Arabic, of course, I'll spare you that. But I'll give you the English translation, and I'm paraphrasing it. If you want change, you need to change yourself first. That's what the Quran teaches us. That inner change, meaning the change here, my own personal change, that has to transpire first before you see an outer change. Outer meaning outside in the community, if you will. And this was so true of the Muslim community prior to 9/11/2001. We were an insular community. Look at any which way possible, we were insular, truly insular. But I am so glad things have changed. And I see Muslim leaders over here. I see them here today. Mona Siddiqui. I see Ms. Sidra Butt. I see Ms. Faiza. And I see Aisha and all these Muslims. It's just wonderful to see these Muslim leaders rising up to the challenge. But I have some advice, if you will permit me today. We Muslims, we need to be action-oriented. Talk is cheap, right? It's really cheap. 16, 17 years ago, we said, Islam is peaceful. We are peaceful. But what is happening today? Are you going to repeat that phrase? Every time a horrible act, a barbaric act occurs, and that's a fact of life, whether it happens to be in the Middle East, or whether it happens to be in Europe, or whether it happens to be here. No, we have to be action-oriented. We need to do that. It's a requirement. We need to do that. I'm from Missouri. Show me. You have to show me. Really, honestly, I lived several years in the Midwest, And it's not Missouri, it's Missouri. If you don't believe me, ask Tim Kaine. He knows it. So I want this thing to happen. This is our next step. We need to be action-oriented. And it will help non-Muslims realize that Muslims are truly a source for good. Let me touch a little bit upon the challenges we Muslims face today. And at the risk of sounding a wee bit political, we find ourselves going through a rather difficult time. True. It looks dark. With rising Islamophobia, rising anti-Semitism, alienation of minorities. My brother, I feel your pain. I certainly do. With the Afro-American community, with the Hispanics, what have you. Look at this, look at around us. We have something called alternative facts, alternate facts. We've got fake news. Goodness, a complete disregard towards facts. Ideology is far more important than facts. Gosh, that's different. And sometimes it may look bleak. But my friends, we need to rise up to the challenge. And I'm addressing everyone, all of you, Muslims and non-Muslims alike. And I am going to quote somebody my friend quoted. He is my favorite person too. Nobel laureate, Peace Prize winner, 1986. Who is it? Thank you, absolutely. And it is the same thing, or almost the same thing, that Alex quoted. Action is the only answer to indifference, especially when human dignity and sensitivities become irrelevant. This is from his acceptance speech in Norway, correct? I think had he been alive, I think he would have told us to resist. Yes, to resist. And my friends, in these Republican times, yes, these are Republican times. They have the presidency, they've got the Senate, the Congress. Majority of the governors happen to be Republicans, the state legislatures. So these are truly Republican times. It is appropriate to quote Ronald Reagan. And I go back to his farewell address in 1989. He spoke of this country as the shining city on the hill. He also said, he mentioned that it was John Winthrop, a pilgrim aboard Arabella, who came to this wonderful country, and he was the person who first used this phrase. I see some similarities between pilgrims and immigrants. I am an immigrant, and I believed in it too. But my friends, I still believe in it. This is the shining city on the hill. It still is. Reagan mentioned walls too, but those walls had doors, correct? And we need those doors. We need those doors for the poor, for the wretched, for the immigrants. I'm not a Republican, guys. Don't get me wrong. I go back to the times when we proudly claimed ourselves to be lefties, and we lived in GDI houses off campus. I don't know if some of the younger people know what GDI stands for. Goddamn independent. But my friends, often our capacity to do good, whether for the downtrodden or our desire to build bridges, is during the darkest hour. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, and thank you again for this award. I hope I can live up to it. Thank you.